Yeah, okay, Vrinda.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whichever part of the world you are joining today from. Welcome to another exciting meeting at Toastmaster, was Sattvic Toastmasters for healthy living. It's all about health, which is your wealth, and also communication skills at Sattvic Toastmasters. The ground rule is simple. Do not disturb the speaker who is speaking and do not distract him in any means. And the second is do not speak in any manner where you will be demeaning the audience. Well, with that note, let me invite the humorous and also the witty presiding officer for today, distinguished Toastmaster Pramod.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Today I'm going to talk about paradoxes. So I am the president of Sattvic Toastmasters Club, and the idea of Sattvic Toastmasters Club is to provide a healthy living style to the members. But since the beginning of the club, I am sick. So what a paradox to think. President of a Sattvic Toastmasters Club who is entrusted with spreading the idea and providing a good life to other people is sick most of the time. Then I thought, am I living a Sattvic life? Definitely no. I am a Toastmaster. I have my projects. But think how many of you spend 1 hour in your project before delivering a speech? Most of the people, they don't. I've interacted with many people. If you really want to do a project, you have to go through each and every page, watch the videos, read the script, understand the project, then you prepare your script accordingly. It takes time. It takes at least 1 hour for anybody to go through the project. But what we do is we just go to the website, we see that it is inspiring your audience, we make a story, we make a script, we practice and deliver. I'm not saying that it is not right. Yes, it is right, but it can be bettered if you spend some more time. So this is a paradox that we are spending money, we are spending only 2 hours in a week, but in the 2 hours, that preparation is required. And I have seen people taking even small roles like accountant and grammarian. The scripts are available in TI website as well as with us. But sometimes we don't read those scripts. We come here and we fumble, we search for words, and we try to get an idea about what we are going to do on the day of the meeting. So these are the paradoxes that we want to get rid of from our life. Today, it's an exciting day today. It's a Sunday in India. It's a Saturday in other countries, Saturday evening, it's a Sunday morning. So I have decided that whatever I am doing, I'll do with my mind. I'll do it from my heart. So I decided to do at least 2, 3 things Sattvic. So let's start with drinking hot water first, so that at least the body will not be harmed in different atmospheric changes. So that's what I decided to do. The first thing I told my wife in the morning that let's have this thing first. The second thing I decided to have a very lengthy conversation with our the great man or the proven Sattvic yogi of this group, our distinguished Toastmaster Raghu, to understand the real picture or the real effort that he had taken to bring his life back to a Sattvic mode. Because here in Toastmasters also, we have mentors. These mentors are not limited to a particular speech or a project or 6 or 7 speeches, but we can also have a cordial discussion about getting an idea about our life or a guidance about our life. So use these opportunities. If you are a professional, your Vrinda is a HR professional. She had conducted 2 sessions, beautiful sessions on career development mentoring. So I was planning to ask her to have one more session on crucial conversation, which is very important for all the professionals. These are the ideas. Today, I was thinking about the paradoxes. how can reduce these paradoxes and come in alliance with what we are doing every day and spending time with. With these humble words, I announce that this meeting is in order and I request the Toastmaster of the day, an HR professional from Canada, an ever energetic, evergreen, enthusiastic, and exuberant Toastmaster Branda Shashikumar.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Presiding Officer DTM Raghu. DTM Pramod. Friends, before I begin, I need to apologize because as we were talking, it's a paradox, and I am also guilty to it. I have spent virtually a cold and cough that I'm recovering from. So you might see me with my hot water and a bunch of tissues and my nasal sound. So please excuse me for that. But I'm still active and alive and very excited for today's session. I couldn't stop myself from attending it. So here I am today. So we have a very interesting session that's happening today. Very, very excited. We have two icebreakers today. And what else to fortify the icebreakers other than a pathways educational session? And by that too, by none other than DTM Raghu. So before we begin, let me first officially welcome all our distinguished dignitaries and guests. From me and all of us, welcome to another engaging and exciting session of Sattvic Toastmasters. So before I invite our keynote session, let me first introduce our tag team. We have a very efficient tag team that's there. Let me first call upon our timer for the day. Timer Navya, would you like to introduce your role? Navya, are you there?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Apologies, my throat is very bad. So for today's meeting, I'll be the timer. So I'll be timing your meetings for icebreaker speech. The duration is going to be 4 to 6 minutes.
Navya, you will be showing the green card at 4 minutes, yellow at 5, and red at 6 minutes.
Yes.
Would you like to show the cards?
Yes, I'll show the cards. This is a green card. I'll be showing at 4 minutes. Yellow card at 5 minutes. Red at 6 minutes, and we'll have a 30 minutes grace period post this.
That's great. Thank you, Navya. The next person is the aha counter, who's very important. And let me introduce Shahid, who is our aha counter for today, to explain his role.
Hi, greetings, Toastmasters and guests. And today my role is aha counter. So you might be aware that what is this role? This role is like in our delivering the speeches or whenever we are talking. So we'll just be keep on using few words repeatedly. So it's not a just a or whatever the word you use repeatedly, I will just list down those. For it is for the betterment of our speech or our communication. So along with that, I will note down the good usage of the words also. And at the end of the our meeting, I will give my report. And over to you, Vrunda.
Thank you, Shahid. And last but not the least, we have the grammarian role. And grammar is what helps us with our language and our communication skills. And who better than our DTM Pramod, who is our grammarian of the day? Let me hand over to DTM Pramod to explain his role today.
Yeah, today is the day for surprises. Once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Toastmasters and fellow future Toastmasters. I would be just observing the good usages that you use in your speech, and I would be using the not so good usages in your speech. I'll be noting down all those things. Like I said, the word of the day for today's meeting is paradox. Paradox. If anybody wants to use the word of the day in a sentence, please raise your hand, and if you can use it, then people will get a clarity how to use it. Anybody?
Of course, you've used it.
Okay. Life
We-
is full of paradoxes where we have to live with it. Paradoxes is if you are planning something which is not happening, if you are like, I am the president of Sattvic Toastmasters Club, but I am sick most of the time. It's a paradox. I hope you got an idea about it. And I'll be posting with one example in the chat box. Then whenever you are using it in your speech, please try to incorporate the word of the day for today. And I'd be looking forward to have beautiful usages from each one of you at the end of the session. Thank you. And over to you, Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Brinda.
Thank you, DTM Pramod. And let's move on to whatever is the meat of the day, kind of, which is pathways. We are all in Toastmasters and we have all heard about pathways, but at times we are not aware of everything that happens in pathways. Why do we talk about pathways? And this is especially true when you are a new Toastmaster. And like me, when I was very new and I was trying to figure out, I was guided by the senior Toastmasters or the DTMs in the club. And we also have new Toastmasters within our club. And what we thought would be better is to have an education session about pathways. And who else is more better than our DTM Raghu, who can introduce us to pathways? And so I requested DTM Raghu. And before I invite DTM Raghu to take over the keynote session for us, let me give some more intro about DTM Raghu, because we might not know everything about him. I asked him, actually, let us know what we don't know about you. And here's some introduction that I have for him. So DTM Raghu is an IT engineer and a passionate coin collector. He's a Toastmaster now for 4 years, but within this 4 years, he has completed 11 paths, achieved 4 DTMs, and close to completion of his 5th DTM. So maybe we could hear some of his secret sauce. What is that today? He has started 7 clubs, conducted 8 speech crafts so far, and he's a strong advocate of core values of Toastmasters and has shown his commitment by serving to the community in various roles. He has served as an area director in District 18 and as a division director in District 101. He calls himself a nomadic Toastmaster, roaming around different countries of the world virtually. He has now visited about, guess the number, 900 plus clubs from 144 countries. DTM Raghu, without wasting further time, the virtual floor is yours to take on. Thank you.
Thank you
Let's
very
hear
much,
a huge round of applause for DTM Raghu, please.
Thank you very much. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, talking about pathways. What does pathway literally mean? Can somebody tell me the meaning in plain English? Go ahead, Ashish.
Yeah, pathway for me, it means that how you can grow. What is the path which you can take to actually grow in Toastmasters?
Okay, forget about Toastmaster. What is the literal meaning of pathway? Pratik, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. So for example, when we are child, our path is clear from first standard to 12th standard. When we go for graduation, our path is little different. Somebody wants to go for engineering, somebody wants to go for maybe medical, right? And many other fields. So path of everybody is different. It depends on their goals. So we need to decide, we should know what are the different paths available for each one of us, and we need to walk on those paths. So sometimes it is not clear, and when it is not clear, it is not achievable. So it's very important to decide our pathways, what path we need to follow so that we can achieve that. That is my way of looking at this. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Just like as you have described, pathway literally means a path that you chose. It can be anything, not just education, anything that you choose, or rather, you're always at a junction to choose between different paths. Sometimes it's right, sometimes wrong, sometimes about the kind of education that you want, sometimes the choices that you make, anything, it can be anything. That's exactly what how pathways works in Toastmasters. Uh, Any topic, any subject that comes to you, you should ask 3 questions: what, why, and how. So let's understand what is pathways before. I mean, pathways as per Toastmasters, right? Now, pathways is a flexible and interactive education program. It's officially launched in 2018, but it took until 2020, June 30, to be made official program. Why? Because there was a traditional program that was going on, and people were given enough time to complete their goals in traditional program and switch over to pathways. So from June 30, 2020, after June 30, or rather I would say July 1st, 2020, this became a fully adapted program for Toastmasters, and all traditional programs were not functional. Earlier, it was available in physical also. You can just go and order for extra $20 something. You can pay and then get the physical content to your house. But right now, it's completely online. It's multilingual, available in different languages. Right now, it's about 11 plus languages, including Tamil and Urdu. Now that we talked about what is pathways, why pathways? Or you could say it's a pathways is a program, and how does it matter? Why? But it matters to us. Should I do my speeches in pathways? Or rather, as Pramod has mentioned today, why should I get trained or do the training of pathways before doing my speeches? What is that the pathways hold that I should be inclined to do my speeches from pathways? To start with, we are all joined Toastmasters for increasing our competencies, improving our confidence, and etc. Right? So pathways has 300 plus competencies to offer you. There are 11 specialized learning paths which are offering, or rather, it is based upon your aspirations, personal, professional, or in public speaking, or in communication. And then the skills that you learn from pathways is for real world. Well, that we'll get to know once we deep dive into pathways. But now, this is the basic understanding. Now, talking about competencies, though there are 300 plus competencies, there are 5 core competencies, and these 5 are the decision factors for you to choose which path you want to go to. Can you mute everybody? Thank you. Now, start with the 5 core competencies. First thing is your public speaking. Second is your interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, leading and managing, and building confidence. Now, we all have joined Toastmaster for increasing our confidence and also improving our public speaking skills. So every path has these 2 competencies, but the other 3 are the deciding factors for you to choose which path that you want to go with. Now, apart from this core competency, there are 2 more competencies that are part pathways and also your Toastmaster learning. Critical thinking, and to think on the spot and then you need to speak, right? You also do it part of a Toastmaster meeting where you attempt a table topic. Active listening, almost every role that are playing, general evaluator, or rather you would say grammarian, counter, a part of it, you learn active listening skills. And then evaluator is also one role that you have to do as part of the project evaluation and feedback. Now, critical thinking is what you need to do. This part of this project called active listening, which is part of your level 2 or level 3, depending upon your path, right? So those competencies that you develop apart from this. Now coming to how do I select my path? How do I traverse through different projects? And how do I do my projects? And that's n number of things when it comes to how. So let's discuss about it. First is selecting a pathway. How do I do it? Now you need to traverse through this different things are given. Just go there, say you want to select a path. If you're joining as a new member, you are offered one new path. You don't need to pay for it, but then additional path you need to purchase at $20 extra fees. How do you do? You need to go with these selections. Then you can either take an assessment where you talk about your aspirations and also talk about your competence level at each thing. So they assess you based on that. They ask you questions, and then based upon your answers, they give the order of the paths that you can select. Otherwise, you can also just select path options where you can check on what has each path, what each path has to offer, and then select the path. Now, I did my assessment when I started taking my first path. I did take the assessment, but I didn't like what portal has to offer. At that point of time, I had a challenge at my workplace to convince my peers to work together to achieve a common goal. So then, whether it is as part of my official work or other thing. So I chose persuasive influence as a path then because that was a challenge that I was facing, and it worked out later. Now it depends upon you whether you want to go with what Toastmaster is suggesting you in the order, or whether you have to want to go with other thing, but just exploring what each path has to offer. And this is how it happens. When you complete your survey, it orders all the paths like this, and then you can choose. Till here, you can always click on this path here and check what it has to offer as projects in each level, right? Now, if it is an assessment, this is how it comes. Now, this is where I'm going with the path option. Now here, I'm going with an assessment. Now here, you need to answer each question and rate yourself out of that 3. And then you need to select the 3 topics that you are eager to learn in Toastmaster. And then out of that, when you answer all the questions, then it again orders in a way, and you can choose from that order which path you want to go with. Now that we are done, there's another way to choose your path. Now, all paths have competencies that it has to offer. Now we have talked about 5 core competencies. These 5 core competencies that you are seeing here, and then this map here. Let's look at that. Again, I will repeat the core competencies: public speaking, interpersonal communication. Just a minute. Yeah, public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, management, and confidence. Now, let us look at what each path has to offer. For example, you look at dynamic leadership. It again, I told you, every path offers you both the competencies, public speaking and confidence. But then the deciding factor, the other these three. Now, dynamic leadership offers you interpersonal communication and management apart from it. Now, irrespective of where you are, what you are doing. Dynamic leadership is something that you can explore where you want to see how you can apply situational leadership in your position. Now, let us say that you are in a senior management position and you want to coach your team so that they can get better at things. Example, we are at a VP or SVP level. Thing, or if you're an entrepreneur where you want to build next set of leadership to enable the organization, or effective coaching is one, where you have the competency like interpersonal communication and management skills that you're applying here, right? And then engaging humor and presentation mastery both have just public speaking and confidence. But then engaging humor is when you want to improve your humorous skills, same time while giving speeches. Now, presentation mastery is just when you want to improve your presentation, whether it is how you give speeches or visualize, or maybe how you want to improve doing your presentations better. So you want to like improve the way that you're presenting, speaking before an audience or before your colleagues, before your senior leadership, anything. That, for example, if you want to improve the way that you're planning things and doing things ahead, that innovative planning is fun. And what he has to offer is your management. And you see the order is changing here. The stress is more on management, and second is your interpersonal communication. Now, way that you manage and you plan and the way that you communicate also matters. For example, if I'm planning something, if I'm not communicating, that's a problem there. I should be able to plan ahead and also communicate that. So there are projects and innovative planning where you need to communicate the change that is coming, the plan that you have for the club, or etc. It can be anything. So all that you have to do is part of this projects in innovative planning. Now, leadership development is where you are aspiring to be a leader. For example, you're getting promoted as a team leader, manager, or something, any position, leadership position, or you want to improve your leadership skills. This leadership development is for you. Now, two, interpersonal communication, four, management. So starting with interpersonal communication, where you're able to communicate, and the management later that comes to you. Motivational strategies. And this is my second part. I wanted to motivate people. Now, again, the interpersonal communication and strategic leadership, where you're able to motivate people. If you want to develop strategies where you can motivate people, this path is for you. Persuasive influence, as I've mentioned before about my experience, about at the end of this path, I was able to persuade and influence my team members to do the activities that we had to do as part of our project and also the other activities in the company. Now, again, it has strategic leadership and the interpersonal communication. So you develop that as part of the projects that are given there. When you want to persuade and also become an influence. If you are a social influencer, then also this is something that you can take up. Presentation mastery we discuss, and strategic relationship. As they say, your network is your net worth. But how do you develop within the organization or outside the organization or anywhere else? How do you develop that network? How do you make strategic relationship that might be helpful to you, to the organization or the team that you're working in? This is very much necessary. For example, in our organization, certain teams that we work with have some tat. But if I have to break the tat as a leader and get the work done early, only such relationship can help. That you develop as part of this project, this path, the projects as part of it where you keep learning it. So two and three again, interpersonal communication and strategic leadership. Only with communication you develop the skills as part of it. Team collaboration is when you want to become a better collaborator within your team, working with a team that you want to do. This is good for you if you're an individual contributor or where as a leader that you want to have a collaborative team. The visionary communication is again, just like innovative planning, this is where you want to develop your communication. Now that I've seen across the IT industry, many people suffer from this problem. They're not able to communicate properly. and they're not able to communicate ahead. And this has caused jeopardy. Recently, somebody called me and was talking about a situation where he just joined a company and he had some knowledge transfer from the previous employee who was leaving, that he didn't get entire knowledge of the project before that guy left. And he just working with that knowledge and started managing team, but he was not able to manage time to learn that process and same time manage the two teams that he was allocated. And he was not, as he didn't communicate that, what happened was that a new person was hired to manage one of his teams, and management started looking at him like as a failure. And I was discussing with him, I told the simple thing that you could have done was to communicate with the management saying that this is what is happened. And I didn't get the entire knowledge. So I need time to process things and then also take over the teams. And that could have resolved you and you would have not been in this position. You see, the importance of communication now, visionary communication is where you see things well ahead and start communicating. And this will help you, organization, and also the management. Because management looks at only the effect of what is happening. They will not look into you. And they're not your parents, of course, trying to understand it, trying to come and ask you every time what's happened, why this and what this does. They'll just look at what's happening, what is the end effect of it. So these are the things, your personal aspiration, professional aspiration, and also the competency that decide which path you want to choose. Now that we have discussed about this, let us look into the other aspect, what each path has to offer. Now, each path has 5 levels, and let us look into that part. The first level is where you are mastering your fundamentals. The first question that you ask in any interview is tell me something about yourself. Now that is what you do as part of your icebreaker. You introduce yourself to the club where you talk about yourself. That entire journey of maybe 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90, it doesn't matter. You are narrating all that story within just 4 to 6 minutes. Now, as part of this, you're learning how to effectively introduce yourself and also put everything as part of 4 to 6 minutes timing. Now, why prepared speeches? If somebody asks why prepared speeches, I would say that putting that entire story into this timing is where I'm learning how to effectively communicate, able to communicate the entire crux of the subject within that time is improving my language, because English is not the first language for many nations. We start improving our language. Second, we also learn how to effectively communicate. It doesn't matter which language you're from. The thing is how to play with the words so that you can communicate better. The timing that is given. You start changing your draft several times to fit into that timeline. We have to talk about the rate of speech that we need to deliver usually is 80 to 100 words so that audience can understand irrespective of where they are from. Now for that is how you divide how many minutes that I speak, 4 to 6 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. So accordingly multiply that and start editing your draft, rewrite, check it, verify it several times that you do, right? That's how you learn to communicate better. And that's how you start doing these things. Now, icebreaker is where you introduce yourself, talk about your entire life. Putting in that time is the challenge, but you start learning it. You learn how to introduce yourself and also how to write your speech effectively. Second is your write speech with a purpose. Now, whatever we speak or whatever you write, whatever we communicate, there's always a purpose to it. But then are we staying on the purpose while we are communicating is a challenge for too many. So we do that as part of this project is where we learn how to go around the purpose and stay on the purpose while we communicate in that 5 to 7 minute speech. And this is necessary when we write emails, especially if you are a professional. For example, you are presenting test results. You always have something, right? You want people to take some action out of it. You have that purpose of that there, and then you write in the entire email based upon that. Again, any speech, you also have all those parts in your email too. The way that you communicate, the way that you write email, it's everywhere. I would say anything and everything is a prepared speech. It matters how you are doing it. As a Toastmaster, you start structuring everything after you effectively start giving speeches. Third is your introduction to vocal variety and body language, hand gestures and body language, and also the vocal variety. It enhances the speech. So that's what you learn as part of it. Now, thing is, I've seen people getting confused, just like Pramod told today. People just look at the title and then go and just give some speech and they think they can do it. But you learn if you're doing training. You learn a lot how vocal variety enhances speech and also how body language enhances speech. Now, the purpose of this speech is either one of them, not two of them. Either use vocal variety because that has a speech profile, the voice profile, or body language. That's again has another evaluation form. Now you have to choose which one are you presenting as part of this, and then accordingly give that evaluation form to your evaluator. You can present any speech as part of it. Now, thing is, level one, leaving icebreaker, other speeches are very generic. You can pick up any topic around the world and then speak on that, right? But then what you need to concentrate upon is purpose of the speech. In writing speech with a purpose, where you have a purpose, and second is you all have a topic for it and then have a central idea, go around that. Last is evaluation feedback. Now we can improve only when we are taking some feedback from people and able to apply it. As a leader, you can grow, or as an individual contributor, you can grow only when you have the ability to listen, get the feedback, apply it in your life. That's what you learn as part of it. You have to give a speech, get the feedback from people, or rather evaluator, and apply it to your next speech and repeat. And then a third assignment is where you evaluate somebody. Then you are active listener to them. Then where you have to give specific and also feedback to that person. So you're learning three things. First thing is applying feedback. Another one speech with a structure. Then the other thing is applying feedback and repeating speech. And the third thing is to evaluate somebody. So three assignments that you are doing. Overall, your level one has 5 speeches and 1 evaluation that you have to do as part of it. Now, level 2 is more you're learning your style, your leadership style, your communication style, the way that you manage time, that way that active listening that we talked about earlier, effective body language, cross-cultural understanding. That's one beautiful project, cross-cultural understanding. I still remember this lady from Peru when she gave her speech in Toastmasters for Hyderabad entrepreneurs. She talked to me at least for 1 to 2 hours, and she spent time to understand the culture of India, how we interact, how we take a certain words, and then she spent the time in understanding, and then she spent time also doing research on her own culture, then start speaking on cross-cultural understanding in her speech. I think that was one of the best projects that we can have, because due to part that when people don't understand the consequences of not understanding other culture is where it leads to a position where you are insensitive to other people. Certain kind of things that you say might be a joke to some you, but not to others. For example, when I joined a meeting in New Zealand, they were talking what they felt about the nationals of certain country. I felt that was offensive. And now also a international leader who had to leave the organization of Toastmasters because of something insensitive that she said, certain nation, right? That is why the cross-cultural understanding is very important for us. That's why we have it in one of the projects there. Now, these are all projects where you understand your leadership style or your style, and then you introspect into your life, try to understand what you did well or what you didn't go well and how you can do better. Bring your personal stories out of your life. This is a wonderful thing, I would say. And then coming to your level 3 is where you are increasing knowledge of your path. Now, negotiating best outcome, how do you negotiate better? What are the different styles of negotiation? And how did you apply in your life? And then how do you want to do in future? Now, just like the technical past, present, future. So how did it work well? Did it work well? How you are doing now and what you want to do in future? Something like that. You can always do it, right? And then present a proposal. We all have been in a position where you need to present a proposal. For example, if you are giving an elevator pitch, investment pitch, or whether you present something like when your boss asks you to talk about, do some research and bring out which project that we can pick up or which software that we can pick up. Anything, it can be anything, right? Where you're presenting a proposal. For example, even from your organization, you're talking to your customer where you need to present a proposal that you are doing as part of it. Planning and implementing, where you need to do a plan and then implement it. So you need to develop a plan and then you need to implement it and then talk about it. So you need to present a plan and then your experience after implementing it. Understanding emotional intelligence. Again, this is a wonderful project, I would say, where you need to understand your emotions and what is the effect that it makes on other people, and then how you can overcome that, or how you have overcome that. You can talk about it. Persuasive speaking is where you need to persuade a certain group of people and then to an outcome that you decide to do. I think that's a great skill that you can learn. You understanding conflict resolution, how you can resolve conflicts. You learn different techniques in that, and then again talk introspect, and then talk about different situation that you are in, or you can just create your own imaginary situation there and talk about that, right? Make connections through networking. Now again, as I talked about before, your network is your network. So talk about situations there. As part of it, I spoke about how I have made my how I have made connections in different parts of the world and what was my experience out of it. The fun thing was one of my friend could travel to a country called Benin just through my network. I built in Toastmasters and he was able to make a big purchase of cashews that he bought back here and he's built made a good profit out of it. That's possible only through networking, right? And that's possible the network I made. Successful collaboration, how you can collaborate well and make a work and successful team that you do. And communication plan where you need to develop a communication plan and present it. Your experience is what you do out of that you present in a form of space. Remember, you do projects and then you present a speech out of it. Now everything is a speech. These are just core projects. Well, there are other projects where you need to connect with storytelling, connect with audience, understand your audience, and then also where you need to develop your audience awareness, etc. Voice, where you need to understand your vocal variety, understand your sense of humor, everything. There's several projects that you do as part of level 3 electives where you can do a lot of wonders, I would say. Level 3 is one of the best levels in any path because you get to expose yourself to so many things. Now, while you have to do like 4 projects in level 1 and 3 projects in level 2, level 2 has also a project where you need to pay respect to your mentors as part of understanding mentoring in Toastmasters project. There are 2 projects and 1 mentoring that is common across any level 2. And in level 3, 1 core project and 2 electives that you can choose from all those 13 electives. It's up to you if you want to do more than 1 elective also, because the crux is learning more, not jumping across like a jumping jack and then trying to complete levels. It's all about speaking more and exposing yourself to different kind of audience and increasing your comfort and also your confidence. And that's level 3. Let's come to level 4 is where you build your skills. Manage change. How do you manage the change? And then manage project successfully is where you present one speech and talk about the project that you want to do. You introduce your team and your goals and etc. And then after you complete the project, then again give a second speech talking about your experience. The first speech is only 2 to 3 minutes. Your second speech is about 5 to 7 minutes. Leading your team is again when you lead a team and then get a common goal. You need to talk about your experience to do that. It can be inside Toastmasters, outside Toastmasters, depends upon it. Motivate others is how do you need to do a project, or rather you need to motivate certain kind of people to do things. As part of it, what I did was to we had a few people who were renewing, or and then also who were just leaving across. Certain people were not renewing, and then some people who were renewing and never serious about doing anything in Toastmasters. What I did was to form new mentors and then start mentoring people who are inactive and then work with them to achieve goals. So help them at least complete their level 1. And I developed this plan called Mission Level 1 and then help them at least to complete level 1. That helped them become more active. So we were able to retain more members and also activate the old members. So that was my project where developing mentors, creating new mentors, and also getting mentors, current mentors to do more as part of that framework that I developed. And it helped a lot in the club I was part of. So that is, I did that. So you do choose what you want to do. Maybe in the club, outside Toastmasters too. Leading in difficult situations is where you need to suggest a difficult situation that you are part of or you will be part of. Just imagine a situation and talk about how will you lead there. Or rather, you can talk about experience that you are part of, where you led, and then how you have led there. And managing a difficult situation is the same thing, where you have how do you manage the situation? You talk about the different situations that can arise and how do you manage it. PR strategies is where you talk about how you can advertise certain things. What are the different strategies that you can do it? Motivate others is again is something, and communicate change is very how do you communicate change? It's part of your level 3 too. Now demonstrating expertise is level 5. Now any level 5 common project is you reflect your path, but then other will you give that in the end of the path. But there are 2 projects that you need to do. One is core and others are from electives that you need to choose. Again, it can be HPL, high performance leadership, where you have to work upon with certain team. You set up your goals, set a plan, communication plan. How do you want to achieve your goals and etc. And also, you need to communicate that in your first speech. Talk about introduce your team, your goals, your timeline, what is your communication plan, etc. And then your second speech, you need to talk about the experience out of working with the team and achieving that goal, right? And that you need to give only after achieving your goal. Well, Lisa is working on a very good HPL in big scale there. And the manage successful events is where you manage a successful event, right? Where like events that you manage, anything that you are managing, and how do you manage it? You can talk about experience after you manage an event. That it can be, for example, an open house in your club, or maybe a panel discussion that you are managing. It can be anything inside Toastmaster, outside Toastmaster. For example, you have managed an event outside at a personal level, at a function that you are managing. You can talk about experience. Team building is a team building activities that we generally do in a corporate level, that you can have a team building night in your Toastmaster club or outside Toastmasters. As part of it, what I did was I have taken up one event in my club of being a chief judge for a what do you call a contest, and then I started having team building activities with all the role players in a different set, and then that has opened up opportunities for us to know each other. And that way, though people were from different clubs and different nations there, we got to know about each other, whether it is the judges briefing, or whether it is the contestant briefing, or whether it is the briefing of the role players. We did the team building activities and it's fun. And then prepare to speak professionally. You need to speak for 18 to 22 minutes. You learn different aspects where you need to speak 18 to 22 minutes, and there's a longest speech that you have in Toastmaster pathways. Now you have to talk on a topic that you want to choose, or maybe you can discuss with your VP education, Vice President education, and talk about the topic that you choose. Now, most of our real-time speeches are longer speeches. For example, yesterday I was giving a motivational speech on girl education. So it lasted for more than 1 hour. So I did share my stage with another speaker, but then that that needed more than half an hour in speaking and then interacting with people, everything included. So how do you do that? Is when you practice such speeches, prepare to speak professional, because outside Toastmasters, when you need to speak professionally, is 18 to 22 minutes or more than that. Now, leading in a volunteer organization is any volunteer organization that you lead, and then you talk about your experience. So I talked about my experience leading at club level, at area level, at division level. And leading any situation is what we talked about, is something, any situation, how do you lead irrespective of the situation that you face? That can be your professional experience, your personal experience, or maybe in Toastmasters, you talk about it. Develop your vision is where you develop a vision and present it as part of this project. These are the core projects, and sometimes the part electives too. So as I told, one core, one elective, and then one thing that you need to complete in the level 5 is reflect your path. And your level 1 is common across each path. Your level 2, it may change, but the one thing that you need to remember is common project is understand like about mentoring, where you need to pay respect to your mentors as part of this project. Talk about your experience being a mentee or protege. And then level 3 is where again one core and 2 electives. Level 4 is one core and 1 elective. Level 5 is one core and 1 elective. And then the last phase, reflect on your path, where you complete your path. So that is your journey in a pathway. One thing that you need to remember is you need to, when you open up your project, you need to do the training. And when you do the training, always you need to map on where were you before completing that project and where are you after the completed project. That is how you map yourself, and then start tracking an Excel sheet, talking about what was your confidence level. For example, there's a survey that you do at each project, and you open it up. Out of 5, rate yourself on the different competencies that the project has to offer. When you answer those questions, you rate yourself out of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything it can be. So now, after the speech, you rate yourself again. That's how you complete a project after completing the speech. Now that you need to track that and also take the feedback that you receive from your evaluator and start tracking it. For my speech, for first speech, this. For my second speech, this. For my third speech, like. That's how you track your growth, and then that's how you see the areas of improvement and start working on it. And then you also have a section in path like Basecamp where you can upload your evaluation sheets. That will help you to track and not to lose these PDFs that people generally fill and send to you. Even if you're giving a physical sheet where if people fill it up and send, just scan it and upload there. So that will give you an option to track it whenever and wherever you want. Overall, thing is, Pathways is an excellent program and a flexible program. But just like as I keep suggesting every time, I keep saying it, up to you how you want to choose it. If you are just jumping through, you're as a corporate learning, just clicking and trying to finish it, or are you going through each and everything that it has to offer you, and then learn it and reflect on your speech and then do it better? It's your choice. You have a knife in your kitchen. You want to cut your vegetables, you want to cut your fruit, or you want to kill somebody. The choice is yours. If you just complete 2 paths in one day, you can do it. Nobody stops you. Maybe give some chocolate or ice cream to your VP education and then get it completed. But then who is the loser? Choice is yours. I'm open now for questions.
Thank you, DTM Raghu. In the interest of time, maybe we take up 1 or 2 questions and then we can reply to the other questions in the chat if that's okay with you.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, can I ask a question to Toastmaster Raju?
I think you can ask in chat because
Oh, okay.
as Brinda has suggested now. Okay, do you want to take questions now, Brinda, or
Chat is not enabled, right?
chat is enabled?
Enabled. Okay.
I would say I'll take the questions in chat. We'll let we go with the icebreakers that we have today.
Yeah. So I think that's a good idea. And we'll move on to the next section just in the interest of time. And Raghu, continue replying to the questions that you see in the chat. So moving on to the next section, friends. As DTM Raghu said, pathways is where you are in the driver's seat. You drive your pathway to whichever destination you want to go. And as we said, it's self-paced. It doesn't mean that you leave it in the open. It is not open-ended. If you share your goals, the whole team can work together with you to make sure that you achieve your goals. There are mentors within the team. There are mentors professionally. And so it's up to you how you want to progress. And with that said, we have 2 wonderful team members who are doing their icebreakers today. And the first speaker today is Ashish, Toastmaster Ashish. He is a systems engineer based out of Hyderabad. And to talk about his speech objective, let me invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Pratik. Over to you, Pratik.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda. So Ashish is giving his first speech in Toastmasters, which is an icebreaker speech. So it's always a prestigious moment, when we give our first speech in front of new audience. It's very important. So the objective of the speech is we are expecting introduce himself to the club and learn what is the basic structure of public speaking. So he will be displaying those skills in front of us, and I will be noting those and I will be evaluating him. That for timer, the time is icebreaker timing is 4 to 6 minutes. So over to Toastmaster Vrinda. Yeah, thank you and all the best to the speaker.
Thank you, Pratik. So Toastmaster Ashish Sinha's title of the speech is very interesting. It's what do you want to be? What do you want to be? Toastmaster Ashish Sinha, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda, for that question. So this is a paradox question for me in my life. Now, let me explain you through my story. I was born in a small district known as Darbhanga in Bihar. And my parents moved to Begusrai, where I was educated. Now, when I was in my first standard, my teacher gave me a homework. She asked me, "What do you want to be?" I was perplexed. I didn't know what I really want to be. I went to my father and I asked him, "Dad, Papa, what I should do, what I should do in future?" My father thought for some time and he told, "I'd really love if you become an IS officer. That's a prestigious job. They are the most important person in the district. Come, I'll show you where they live. They live nearby in a big bungalow with so much security and they work for people." I was really impressed. I went back the next day and I told to my teacher that I want to be an IS officer. My teacher was impressed and she told me, "If you want to be an IS officer, you need to be good at your studies. You need to be the best in your studies. You need to be the topper of this class." Well, that was something surprising for me because I was not doing that well in my studies. Okay, but I tried I tried for a few years and I realized that I am not going to top in class. So probably IS is not the one which is for me. What happened next was I went to my mother and asked her, Mother, what do you think I should be in future? Mother told, when you were in my belly, you used to kick a lot. Probably you should try something in sports and probably football. I thought, why not? Sports is something interesting. Let me try it out. So I started playing football and I started playing with different teams. Once it happened, I was the captain of the football team and I was in the defense area, protecting the goals. The offense people actually put the ball near to the goal post, and I was supposed to defend and throw it outside or throw it in their court. What happened was I kicked the ball near to my goal post, and everybody was laughing. I realized I'm really not that great at football too. This is not going to be the one which I can become a footballer. Now what? What should I do next? So I was thinking about it. And in the evening, when I came back home, I saw everybody was glued to their television set. Oh, what's going on? Let me see. I went out there and I saw there was a cricket match between India and Pakistan. And everybody was euphoric because Sachin was playing and Sachin was hitting fours and sixes. I too watched with amazement in my eyes that, wow, everybody loves Sachin so much because he plays amazingly well. And he is in everybody's heart. Why not give a try for cricket? Let me do that. I started playing cricket from the next day. I went out there and the first ball which I hit, I could not hit the ball. The ball hit my wicket. So that was when my dream crashed out there. Moving on, there was a problem in my home. The water stopped. What happened was the water motor was burned. Now to fix it, my father took it to a mechanic and he opened the water motor. And I was intrigued by seeing that how exactly he fixed all the wires and made it work. I found it really interesting. Seeing that, the technician told me, you should probably try to be an engineer. Wow, that is interesting. And probably an electrical engineer. I thought to myself. I started preparing for engineering. And when I was in 12th, I gave IIT exam. But bad luck, I missed by 1 marks in IIT. Now that was shattering. But I still believe that this is something which I wanted to do, which I wanted to learn. I went ahead and tried for another 2 years, prepared for it, and I got a seat in Manipal Institute of Technology in Manipal, where I did my BE, that is Bachelor's in Engineering in Electrical and Electronics. I learned a lot about electrical and electronics. There too, I was asked, which branch do you want? Do you want computer science? Do you want IT? Do you want civil? My civil senior was telling, never take electrical electronics. That's not a 4 years branch. That's a 5-year branch, or probably more than that. You will be killed out there. Then I said, okay, I'll not take that. But finally, I ended up there. Then I learned more about electrical branch. After that, when I came to job, I was asked, what role do you want to play? I was given a tester job. I realized later that I want to be a designer, and I asked for that particular role. So I started my journey from Bangalore. Then I was shifted to Hyderabad, Honeywell, where I worked as a designer. Later, I realized I want to learn more about systems, and I moved to another company called Career, where I'm working currently. Overall, what I realized in my life is, as Steve Jobs said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backward. And you have to believe that dots will connect somehow. So, my dear friends, what will you become? Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Day.
Let's give a huge round of applause to Toastmaster Ashish. That was fantastic. Learned so much more about you and your journey. And now I know what you meant when he said, what do you want to be? That's excellent. And now let's move on to our next speaker, who is Radhika. Radhika Kondoji is an IT professional, a senior quality assurance manager from California, USA. And to introduce her speech objective, let me invite her evaluator, Arav Saxena. Arav, over to you.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests. Today, my speaker is attempting icebreaker, the first speech, the introductory speech, which every one of us would have given whenever we have joined any club or when we were new to Toastmasters. The purpose of the speech for the member is to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speaking. The topic for the speech is Keep Your Dreams Alive. All the best, Radhika. Over to you, Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you, Arav. Greetings to fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am Radhika. I am an easygoing, happy person. I was born and brought up in Hyderabad, India. We had a beautiful childhood with two of my younger siblings. I studied in and around Hyderabad from my school to college days. I would like to tell my story of how I accomplished my dream of working as an IT professional. My father was an engineer in a public sector company, and my mother was a homemaker. We had a balanced life with father going to work and mother taking care of the children. My father thought if I become a teacher, I would be able to take care of my children, studies, and financially independent also. Also, being the girl child at home, my father wanted me to settle down in work around 20 years and work, also get married so that he would complete his responsibilities. As per my father's wish, I have pursued teaching degree and completed it successfully. Later, my father suggested me to take up a job, but I wanted to continue my studies. Though I wanted to join computer science, my father suggested postgraduate course in science. Hence, I have completed Masters in Science and started working as a lecturer. To pursue my dream, I have started saving my money while I was working as a lecturer. I joined a part-time computer program and completed a degree. With that qualification, I started applying for jobs. The challenge was to get the breakthrough while competing with engineers and computer graduates. With the persistent effort, I got a breakthrough in a major software company in India as a test engineer. With the dream job in my hand, I was very much excited and flying with colors and gave all I had in time and effort. My management was impressed by my performance, and I was given an on-site US opportunity within 18 months of my job, which was a massive reward for me in my life. Having accomplished my job in flying colors, I wanted to build myself as a balanced and joyful human being. So I choose yoga, meditation, and being in nature as my hobbies. I joined a yoga and meditation group and learned well. It was very difficult while learning and practicing initially. However, as I continued to practice it daily, it became very easy, and the benefits I get is so much rewarding. Every day I do yoga and meditation as I get so much relaxing. Even today, I do yoga and meditation as the first thing in the morning, and so that my entire day becomes beautiful. As part of being in nature, I go out for walking and walk for 5 miles a day on the weekends, and I go to forest area and do hiking. This keeps me going and be fully energetic. During warm days, I tend to go to beaches and go for lakes so that I can enjoy the water too. This is my story. As someone told, the only guarantee for failure is stop trying. That is the message for today. And thank you all for this opportunity. Over to you, Toastmaster.
That's such an excellent and motivating speech, Radhika. I learned so much about you. Now that you are a yoga and meditation practitioner, we should discuss more and learn some insights from you on that as well. Wow, talk about work-life balance. And I think she's an ideal person to follow on work-life balance. With that said, now we move on to the last section, which is the evaluation section. It's actually a paradox, because the evaluators are challenged to not only talk about what the good things that they saw in the speech, but also to talk about some challenges and present some challenges to our speakers. So let's begin with the evaluators. Evaluator 1, Pratik, I invite you for your evaluation.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Vinda. And and thanks for the speech, Toastmaster Ashish Sinha. So wonderful speech. It was an icebreaker. I was not able to see that it's an icebreaker. I feel that you have given a well-structured speech, starting with the opening. What was the speech topic? Then there is a storyline. Like there were many people, right? Your mother, your father, your teacher, then your colleagues, and then maybe when you have opted for a job. So there is a storyline, and finally you have concluded with a quote from Steve Jobs, right? So definitely any speech should have opening, body, and conclusion. So you opened with a question, then in your body there are stories, and finally you have ended with a quote. So well-structured speech, and you have used many good words like perplexed, and your story was vivid. I was able to visualize when you are speaking with your father, like conversation was going on. Only the things like when you were conversing, maybe you could have some sort of voice modulations. When your father is speaking, Ashish, you should do like this. And then when you are speaking, yeah, father, yeah, I should do like this. Something like that, like some sort of voice modulation or changing of position. When your father is speaking, you are here. And when you are speaking, you are here. Like this, maybe. But maybe this much is not expected in this just in first speech. But these are the few small things which you can improve on. You definitely met the objectives. You have asked me that your message was clear, coming clearly or not. Your message was very much coming clearly. So now if I just want to go and in a flow, what you want to be. So it's really life is like a paradox, I will say. You know, when you are talking to your mother, when you are talking to your father, everybody is giving some different answers and you are trying to follow that. But sometimes you're not able to do that because you are changing your mind. So really, I will totally agree with the today's word of the day, which is a paradox. And this paradox is going to come, but we should know what we want to do. Finally, in your end, maybe you could have, when you have related with the a quote of a Steve Jobs, do you really know what you want to do? Still, maybe today you are working with a company, maybe that goal is achieved, but maybe I'm not clear that still you are knowing what you want to do. And if it is clear with you, I am very happy with that. That is all from my side, but the speech was well delivered. You met the objectives, and few words which I have told, you can take care of that, and you can definitely be a much better speaker, not only in Toastmasters, everywhere, wherever you are working. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Toastmaster Prateek. And now let me invite Toastmaster Arav for his evaluation on Radhika's speech. Over to you, Arav.
I hope I'm loud and clear. Okay, thank you. Keep your dreams alive. Toastmaster Radhika. First of all, congratulations on your first speech. You did a very great job out there. Your speech had a very great start. It was properly organized throughout. You started off with your childhood, your schooling, your college, and then you talked about your career, your job. You told about your hobbies and daily habits, like whatever you go to park for the jogging, forest area for the hiking, which is really great. I mean, you tell people, you're telling people what you do daily, regularly, and what do you like to do in your life. That's nice. Another thing, what I really liked about your speech is that you ended up with a quote, which most of the speakers don't. It's a really great thing to end a speech with a quote, and you really did that. Talking about the points which you can, like, through which you can make your speech more effective, would be voice modulation. Speaking of which, is like you were sitting straight, talking in a constant voice. What you could do is, let me give you an example. You told about your hobbies, like you go to a park every day, and or maybe a forest area to hike. Every day, I go to the nearest park and I jog for an hour, or maybe, you know what? I go to the forest area and I hike. I love hiking. Something like that. Your hand movement should, you know, be what's the word? I'm not getting the word, but it should be it should relate to your voice modulation, or it should relate to your speech, the structure, the what you were speaking. It was really good. I mean, I'm not saying you did your hands were moving, but it was not relating. You're just keeping your hands like this or like this. Okay. So secondly, eye contact. Please try to make a proper eye contact. I could see you are seeing here, seeing there, and then see coming here. I mean, you were confused, you were relating, you were remembering a speech. I could understand this is your first speech. I'm not telling you to be perfect in that, but overall, you did a really great job. Fabulous. Kiddos on your first speech. All the best for your future speeches. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster. The
Thank you, Toastmaster Arav. That was wonderful and a lot of valuable insights. And now let's move on to the last section, which is evaluation by a tag team to understand how we did on our timing, our R counter, and our grammar. Let me invite timer Navya for her timer report.
Hi everyone, am I audible? Yeah. Talking about the icebreaker speeches. So speaker one, Ashish, finished his speech in 7 minutes 8 seconds. Which and speaker two, Radhika, she finished her speech in 4 minutes 56 seconds. Yeah, so both the speech are qualified according to the time. And for the evaluations, evaluator one, Pratik, his timing was 2 minutes 33 seconds. And evaluator to Arav, his timing was 3 minutes 34 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Navya. And now let me call upon Toastmaster Shahid for his R counter report.
Yeah, thank you, Vrunda. And greetings everyone once again. And today, let me just share my screen once. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And today is a paradox for me. Why? I was looking for too many ahs and ums, but what is the result? I did not get much. So I was just like today when I started the role which I was given. So I was like this. I was just sitting and waiting for the ahs and ums. And I'm just thinking like I will get these many ahs and ums. But finally, it was a paradox, as I mentioned. So I did not get much. So coming to the report, just Toastmaster Vunda has 2 R's and Pratik has 4 and Ashish Sinha 3. Even it's his icebreaker speech. As the evaluator said, it did not look like an icebreaker speech. He has these R's and M's. It's okay. And Radhika has 3 and Arav 2. As it always mentioned in our Toastmasters, to become better version of ourselves, these will help. So these ahs and ums, if we try to exclude, so our speeches or our communication will become more effective. So with this, I will hand over it to Toastmaster Vrunda. Thank you, Vrunda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shahid. That was wonderful. And I loved the presentation. It was really, I think, one of the best R counter reports that I have seen. With that,
I agree.
Yeah. With that, thank you everyone for your valuable contributions. And now it's my pleasure to hand over the virtual floor to our presiding officer, DTM Pramod, for his closing remarks.
Yeah, before once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Before the closing address, I was playing the role of a grammarian as well. So my report is pending. That's okay. That's absolutely fine, Vrinda. The word paradox was the word of the day. That itself became a paradox with less number of usages from speakers. Only 4 people used it so far in my notice. If I fail to notice somebody is using the word, please pardon me for that. Vrinda, Raghu, Pratik, and Shahid used the word paradox in their speeches somewhere. So give them a big round of applause. It's an extempore activity that you get to know about a word of the day or idiom of the day, and incorporating that in your speech instantly and using it means you are learning the expertise, you are gaining the momentum that is very much needed in Toastmasters. And I'm sure that you would be giving considerable importance to word of the day and idiom of the day, and try using it elsewhere also when you have conversation in your office with your colleagues or in your communication. Thank you so much. Today we had seen a lot of good words from speakers, evaluators, and collaboration, teamwork, vision, communicate with clarity, fundamentals, audience connect, brevity, soulful, icebreaker, charming, cultural shock, amazingly well, flying with colors, balanced and joyful human being. That's, I think it is an oxymoron, and perplexed, rapidly organized. So these are some of the good words that I noticed that can be used in our daily communication. Some of the not so good usages by some people, it was just a slip of tongue. Many a people, somebody used the word many a people. It's not many people, it can be many people. And what are your icebreaker? It can be what is your icebreaker. That's the correct usages. So that's all about my report. Now let me change the hat. Now I'm going to be the president of the club, making the closing address. We had seen two amazing icebreakers, professional and mature icebreakers. I should say this is a level 3 speech. Both the speakers have told us about their intentions, their experience, their aim in life, their dreams, aspirations, etc. Now we got to understand more about Ashish, Toastmaster Ashish and Toastmaster Radhika. So once we have that understanding, then it is easy to go along with the club. If we have more members waiting for their icebreakers, definitely, please, this is a good example how you can prepare for the icebreaker and go ahead with it. And one simple and small request to all of you, please take speech slots, take roles for the next meeting, coming meetings. Without taking roles, you will not improve it, because this quality comes handy when you do multiple roles, multiple times. So make sure that every week you have a role. So when I was a Toastmaster, when I started my Toastmasters journey, my only condition is that I should be there somewhere in the agenda, either as a timer or as a GE or as an evaluator or as something else. Even a club with 40 members, I managed to find out a time. Then I joined another club also, so that I can give at least take one role every week. So that is how I started improving my communication and leadership skills. In the beginning, you might be thinking that the speeches are the only way to develop your communication. It's absolutely wrong. Even a timer is very important. It increases your listening capacity. It increases your power to say no to people. If you are a person who is not really comfortable saying no to somebody, do the role of a timer multiple times, then definitely it will happen. Now we have two new members. I would request the mentor of the sponsor of our club, distinguished Toastmaster Raghu, to induct the two members today. It's a momentous day for them, for us also. We are starting with the new practices of inducting members. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Raghu.
Thank you very much, Pramod. Can I? Okay, it will be three, including Vikas, Sudhir, Vikas, and then Radhika. Both three of you have. So I want you to say "I do" when I complete the statement, and then I also have the club members who take responsibility of the members. I, in the presence of fellow members of Sattvic Toastmaster for Healthy Living, make this firm obligation to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for each assignment, to apply myself to the projects outlined in the Toastmaster education program, to participate actively in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner, to build open, friendly relationship with my fellow members, and to bring members to the club and also gain benefits of Toastmasters. You can say "I do." Three of you.
I do.
I do.
Radhika.
I do.
Thank you. So this is something all for the members of the club. We, the members of Sattvic Toastmaster for Healthy Living, pledge to support you, Radhika, Sudhir, and Vikas in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmaster membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. You can say "I do."
I do.
I do.
I welcome you all three to Sattvic Toastmaster for Healthy Living. I wish you a happy and also responsible growth for your communication and professional journey.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're officially the members of the club from now.
Thanks a lot. We'll keep going.
Thank you. With this, I declare that the meeting is closed. Next week, that's November 12th, is the Diwali celebrations here in India. It's a festive season. And so we won't be having a meeting on Sunday, that's November 12th. That's our first break. And we will be again meeting for November 19th. We'll stop the recording here and then we'll do the roll call for next week. That's for November 19th. So all the best and thank you for today.